Eddie, what are you doing?
Nothing. I'm not doing anything.
Okay. Hello, one and all. Welcome to another episode of Nothing and Like It. Thankfully, the only podcast covering the UK's Frontier Wrestling Alliance via their appearances on television. In an alternate universe, I am still head of video production for the FWA, Kieran Lefort, and joining me as ever, in an alternate universe, he is a two-time winner of Big Brother, Andy Ogden. Andy, how are you?
I wish I was, mate. What aggro I had to go through at the GMEX in no, not the GMEX, a court building in Manchester for them auditions.
You thought I wasn't listening. I was filing that information away when you told me about the Big Brother auditions.
Making up stories that I used to eat dog food and yeah, to fit in with the rest of the idiots on that programme.
Well, hopefully you're not eating dog food today. That would be a terrible sign of the British economy, wouldn't it? And in his alternate universe, he got paid for reffing the cave show. Eddie Sideburns. Eddie, how are you?
I'm still waiting for that payday. It'll just never come. And everyone got cold pneumonia, cave pneumonia, and flu after it. So it was, yeah. I'm doing fine. I'm so now wanting to just stop the entirety of talking about the FWA and talk about Andy doing auditions for Big Brother. One, what year was it? Two, would you have stood a chance against whoever was the winner of that year?
So it was, I think it was Series 8 and Series 9. I remember Glyn, who was like the lifeguard. He was at the auditions. He might have been Swearing Pete as well, in with the Tourette's. Yeah. And I got through to the actual audition what showed on E4 because I remember someone at work showing us the said, "Oh, you were on telly."
Is there any chance?
So he's been on TalkSport and he's been on Big Brother.
I taped
what
over
a megastar!
Taped over it, mate.
And in another alternate universe, if one man hadn't been when he would stood, you'd have been shocked Undertaker reaction guy.
Yeah.
I met him and got a photo with him at WrestleMania Access.
Who, Andy?
The guy who could have been Andy. I got a photo with him. I got a photo with the ill-named Canyon Seaman, where I did a very sad foe's face as if he'd fired me, which is quite, well poor off now looking back at it. Poor taste, sorry. But yeah, oh God, I cannot wait to talk about some FWA and also after the show is over, interrogate Andy Ogden about what questions were on Big Brother.
I'll tell him we've stopped recording, but I'll leave it running. Right, so let's actually get this show on track and talk about some FWA. This month, it is 2 more episodes of the 2004 Wrestling Channel series of FWA TV. And we start on episode 15, July the 15th, 2004. After the opening titles, it's off to the John Atkins Void, where he runs down a special appearance by Burchill, our ladder match main event between Hade Vanson and Zebra Kid for the All England title. But first, the family defend the tag title against, how are these guys contenders? Aviv Mayan and 5-star Mark Belton.
Jesus.
The story goes, like Nick London says on commentary, they don't have official number 1 contenders yet because of the number 1 contenders are Simmons and Burchill, but they are not a tag team. So the FWA have had to scramble together some contenders for the family to defend their belts, and they've put together Aviv Mayan, whose claim is he recently beat Alex Shane twice, and 5-star Mark Belton, whose claim is he got a pin over Doug Williams, the FWA champion, in the 2 out of 3 Falls title match. It's spurious, but good enough, I guess.
I think what you can immediately tell is because obviously we've got the remastered version. So when you're watching this, it's I can see clearly now, like the song I Can See Clearly Now, the rain has gone. But instead of the rain, it's the jaundice is gone. Because all I can see is a better picture quality than what I've seen before. I can see
clearly now the MPEG artifacting has gone. Yeah. Yes, I watched the remasters of both of these episodes.
On episode 15, I watched the original version.
Oh, sorry. So you won't have seen most of this.
No, all I saw was Ben's hat and Martin Kirby's teeth. And then I watched episode 16, which was the remastered version. Like, fucking hell, it's an alternate universe.
It's night and day, isn't it? See, that's why I was talking about alternate universes. So we're at Broxbourne Civic Hall. It's April the 11th. It's Crunch 2004. Before the action gets underway, Greg Lambert has a message from, quote, the god of British wrestling, Drew McDonald.
Oh, this photo frame, it looked like it. I said a picture of Drew in his actor's pose for IMDb as an extra.
It looks like when you buy a frame and it comes with a picture in it, except he has bought it from the crappiest shop in town and it's got a picture of Drew McDonald in it in his T-shirt.
I thought the pictures was like from one of those like dating video things you see, but it's like, I've been looking for you, and it's just him going, "Hi, I'm Drew McDonald,
and I'll Celtic crush you."
Can I also talk quickly about the fact that I love the fact that John Atkins was like had these like files while he was doing the intro.
The Dennis Norden of British wrestling. We talked about that. Yeah, it's because we didn't have an auto cue, and I didn't want him to remember a whole script.
I felt like he was going to go off into like a Father Ted like rant when he won the award. He's just looking at the speech.
And now for the racists. So Greg has, this big framed photo of Drew McDonald. He says, Drew, I had a vision and Drew came to me and said, and this bloke in the crowd yells out, suck my cock. You cannot trust British wrestling crowds. Do not give them an inch. He actually says Drew told him it's time to unveil the newest member of the family. So keep your eyes peeled. All will be revealed. And that's the truth, the whole and nothing but, so help me God.
Did you hear the one person in the crowd who was kind of adamant that they wanted the newest member of the family to be JBL? Because all I kept hearing was someone shouting, JBL! JBL!
That gimmick is super new at that point. Like, I think the Eddie Guerrero match has only just happened.
Yeah.
Like, maybe a week or so before.
Because this was 2004, so like, because me and Arn Furious came up to Scotland to spend a couple of days with me watching football and stuff like that.
In actual fact, the Eddie Guerrero match hasn't happened.
Yeah.
That's June the 27th. So JBL as a character is super new.
Yeah, because I was saying, Arn came up for a wee while to watch football with me, and we were talking about one of the SmackDown shows in 2004 that he went to, and it was one of the things because Bradshaw was in one of the shows they went to, but it was just down as Bradshaw. So when I was kind of watching this, I was like, "This is 2004. So has he just become the character?"
Yes. The crowd chant, "That's your boyfriend," Lambert and his photo. 5-star, get some shine on Raj with a couple of stiff clotheslines and a sweet tope. Travell comes out after them with a flip dive, and then Aviv jumps on the whole lot with a double springboard crossbody off the top. Back inside, 5-star batters Raj with chops and what I called a double nipple cripple. Well, that's the only way you can describe it. And then he and Aviv isolate Ghost and take turns wrecking his arm. One
thing I wanted to ask you, though, Kieran, was like, I think it's when Aviv Mayan got in, and his name graphic just like come up in a fire swoosh. It's like, surely you would have put the graphics on beforehand. Like, this is Aviv Mayan, not how.
Well, no, because the intros are cut off this, aren't there? There's no entrances on this. So the graphics come up when the people like get their first close-ups effectively, or their first like single shots. It's me putting them in at the first opportunity I've got.
Right. You enjoyed
because normally they go for the entrance.
I would say you enjoyed the fire graphic though, didn't you? You overdid it.
That's not me. So that fire graphic was created by can't remember his name. He's one of the editors at the Wrestling Channel.
Right.
And just left the space for me to put the name in. So it was a template I used over and over again. Yeah, get used to it. There are no different entrance graphics for the rest of this run.
All I'm going to say is I like that because it was like you waited until someone tagged in and then the person came in and then you had it. I thought that was quite good.
Yeah, got to help people identify who they're watching. Could be every show could be somebody's first show. So the dissension we saw between Ghosh and Travell back on episode 10 continues here. All their tags are aggressive, and they keep arguing what gives their opponents the advantage. Eventually, Aviv goes for a rope walk but Travell kicks the rope, crotching him, and then the heels finally take over. Aviv eventually rolls clear of a middle rope leg drop and sends Travell into the babyface corner. Paul, though, avoids the follow-up flying forearm, and Aviv accidentally blasts Belton off the apron. I like the face that Belton pulls, like clutching his jaw, going, "Oh, he hit me. Can't believe he did that."
Like a bloody, what is it, a tortoise?
So Travell with a German suplex tags Raj in by the ear. Ghost goes for the jumping sits on the back of an opponent who's on all fours, but Aviv rolls over on the third attempt, and Raj, who has been busy telling Paul that this is how it's done, comes down balls first on the knee. Mayan goes on a flurry, ends up with Ghost between him and the tag and gets cut off again. Aviv gets 2 counts on Travell off a flying crossbody, a Rana out the corner, and his tilt-a-whirl reverse DDT. Travell drops him with a TKO and tags out. The family then take too long on a double team, so Aviv sends them crashing into each other and crawls towards Belton. And when Aviv is just an inch away from the tag, Belton drops off the apron and walks away. Lambert does the family pose to him in the aisle, but 5-Star just shrugs him off and walks off. In the ring, Aviv walks into that lovely Paul Travell spinebuster. Trav hits the bloodshot splash, and then Raj flies in with another on top of Paul, rolls him off and steals the pin. The bit I like is on the outside. Scott Parker, who's come out with the family and is holding the tag belts, celebrates like he has just won the world title. Good enough, I think. Like, there's story running through it. The unrest in the family continues. 5-Star is a boring babyface no more. And everybody hates Aviv. 2.5? Dissenting opinions?
2 stars I give this one.
Yeah, fair enough.
It was serviceable. I suppose Belton versus Aviv Mayan will be a good match down the line if they go into that. Mm-hmm. Do you guess Mark Belton's just frustrated because he's lost a bit?
Yeah, I guess. I'm sure there will be a promo explaining his motivations in the coming weeks.
Oh, it'll be a fucking terrible promo, I guess.
Maybe he'll be better as a heel. Maybe it won't just be, I will try my best to win, like he did last time.
He did, yeah.
The competition winner has been told, right, you're going to cut a heel promo now.
Maybe he gets one of each as part of his prize.
Yeah, this was all right. I enjoyed there was the fireman's carry into the stunner that I thought was quite good in this. It was all right. I think I said that the fact that like Travell is almost in essence earing towards being a face, and then you've got Belton now just suddenly turning heel completely. I think that was quite a good wee kind of thing, and obviously it's all about a case of what happens next, but yeah, serviceable.
I mean, a lot of the stuff we talk about is more about the action than the story, and this, for a change, was a match that was more about the stories than the action.
Yeah.
Which is a rarity in this company, as we discovered. So afterwards, Travell and Ghost get physical, and just as Scott Parker comes in to mediate, the screen turns negative colours, and bong! It's time for a Burchill monster moment.
Yay.
Yeah.
Well, then again, my mood changed once I saw what the monster moment was, as it was him twatting the new breed.
I wrote Andy's favourite moment in FWA history, Burchill does a murder on the new breed.
I've put this down as, I like the Burchill monster moments coming in, beating up Andy's boys. Yeah. I thought of you immediately, mate. I was like, you must be so happy.
Oh, punch in the air, man. Question for you, Kieran, now.
Yes.
So, the advertisers are live in July tour, but there's a website address, wrestlingx.com.
Yes.
What is that?
It was Greg Lambert's website.
Ah.
So it was kind of, I think it was part of the deal, like we promote the Morecambe show, but as he was the promoter of the Morecambe show, we said in association with WrestlingX.com and slap that on. You could probably buy tickets through WrestlingX.com, actually. I don't know. I can't remember. It's 20 years ago, man. I can't remember how it worked.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think it works anymore. I'm not gonna Google it. Don't put any more X's on the end of it, definitely. So Burchill kills the new breed. We're told there's another monster moment next week, and After the break, Burchill in action. So after the ad break, we are in the Morecambe Dome. Boo, changing venues. And the screen is filled with fluorescent green and yellow. Looking like he has fallen into every vat of ink at the highlighter factory, this is the FWA debut of the Mister Who Kissed Your Sister, the brother who scored with your mother, the monk of funk, and the altar boy of sexual joy. Ladies, no need to run and hide. His ass is a spaceship. You want to ride. Dirk Feelgood. Yes, I wrote all that down. And in fact, for 20 years, I've remembered most of that promo.
Wow.
I'm going to put it on my dating profile. He says he has no idea who the sacrificial lamb is that's going to be fed to him on his debut. More than likely, he's going to have shiny pants and weigh about 8 stone, he says. And we cut to, allegedly backstage, but probably shot in Brent or Broxbourne a few weeks later, Dean Ayers and Burchill. Ayers says, who is this fluorescent fool going on about 8 stone kiddies? Get out there and give him a debut he'll never forget. Prove you don't need me there. Go and kill. And as Burchill leaves to do violence, the camera moves to the back of Dean's t-shirt, which has the disclaimer printed on it.
I laughed at this backstage promo. It made Dean, like Dean Ayers, like Bob Uecker looking up to Andre the Giant. It says
yes,
Andre the Giant.
The camera is down like knee level, isn't it? Yeah. It's so low.
But Burchill, 6'11". in this promo. Also, Dirk Feelgood still going today in
yes
GPW as a manager. His group's called Feel Good Media Limited, which is an acronym is FML, which basically is Fuck My Life.
Well, speaking of FML, fuck Dirk's life. Back in Morecambe on May the 29th, Burchill's bong goes off and Dirk shits his Dayglow bell bottoms.
That sounds all sort of wrong, that Burchill's bong.
Yeah, there you go. Paul Burchill looked fucking huge on his entrance. His chest looked like 3 feet wide. It's an upper body business, kid. The commentators say we haven't seen Dirk Feelgood in the FWA before. He could be absolutely amazing and the first person to pin Burchill. Spoiler, he wasn't. The disclaimer rolls as a ticker across the bottom of the screen a couple of times and the crowd chants, Burchill's gonna kill you. I like Dirk going, shut up, don't give him any ideas. Dirk gets some quality titty mist with 3 hard overhand chops on Burchill's giant chest. But a flying leg lariat just bounces off and Burchill goes into Burchill mode and destroys him. Dirk gets a little something with a poke to the eyes, but Burchill stands up to a top rope dropkick and hits all of his signature moves. Do you remember ages ago I said I'd seen someone else do Paul Travell's sacrificial slam?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a move I've seen regularly done by somebody else. I've been watching a lot of historical Dragon Gate lately, and it's a Susumu Yokosuka move. It's the eye cutter. Oh. The point here is, though, Burchill's move with no name is also BB Hulk's EVO finisher.
Oh.
But Paul was using it 3 years before Hulk even debuted. So, Ultimo Dragon stealing from Mark Sloan. It's official. Sloan got the 6-sided ring. Dragon got a bunch of FWA finishers. Anyway, moving no name. Dirk Feelgood feels dead, and Burchill wins by 10 count TKO. You can't rate a Burchill squash. They're Burchill squashes, but I thought Dirk was very entertaining before he got killed. I
was absolutely mesmerized by Dirk Feelgood. I was like, what the fuck is this? It felt like, and Andy will understand this, it felt very much like someone doing a Dave Rain PCW kind of like promo type of stuff.
Yeah. With the sexual innuendos and
like kind of also making almost like insider jokes and stuff like that. But like he has to come out with I hope that he has at one point came out to the Feel Good song by
I can make you feel good by
that one,
Kavanagh or something like that.
Motley Crue, Dr. Feelgood, obviously. I hope he does come out to that at some point, obviously. But yeah, like this was and also the fluorescence. My God, the fluorescence.
There's nobody dressed like him in the FWA, is there?
No, and he comes across, like, even though he's being jobbed out, like if you look at all the other jobbers we've had to really deal with or discuss, he's probably one of the one that sticks out more than I think the rest of them, I'd say.
He got his personality over. So it's minor spoilers for future FW. Actually, I don't know if you'll see him in this, guys, in the FWA. Do you know what Dirk Feelgood's shoot job is?
Yeah.
Does Eddie?
I'm assuming when I saw something, when I searched up on Cage Match, it said anesthetic driver. I'm assuming something to do with medicine.
He's a GP. So he later becomes Dr. Dirk Feelgood, and his theme, once he adopts that gimmick, has a casualty sample in it.
I need to listen to this. Oh.
The casualty theme. He's not bound for the bound for reload.
No, it's not. I think it actually. So Ralph did the casualty remix with Dirk Feelgood before that came out.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, do you remember I mentioned last week? I'm sure D'Lo Brown was using Stevie Knight's music. They're different remixes of the same track. I listened to them back to back. They're the same bass, but like Ralph has put some extra stuff on the D'Lo one. Everybody's favourite transition, the page turn. And Alex is in the dirty white-walled reverby promo room. This is very quick, thank God. And I think cut down from something much longer. He basically congratulates Jack Xavier on making him look stupid by helping Aviv beat him last week. And the next time they meet, it will be last man standing. There's two things Xavier can do about it, apparently. That's lay down and suffer.
So is that the new title of our show now? Lay down.
No, but potential episode title right there. Straight into the hype video for the match, which will be on next week's episode. Out of the ad break into the Atkins Void, who sets up Zebra Kid versus Hade Vanson for the main event. He explains that Vanson vetoed the ladder stipulation for their last meeting, so we ended up with that infuriating double disqualification that closed the first episode of the season. He says the addition of the ladder promises to bring this contest up to a new level of violence and danger. So yes, it's Broxbourne, Zebra Kid versus Hade Vanson, ladder match for the All England title. Hade is in the ring and has a mic and his silly promo voice. The first thing you hear is someone in the crowd yelling, "You've always been crap, Hade!"
Some of the crowd chants or shouts towards him during this promo, like someone shouts, "You've got no heat," and then someone starts chanting, "We want Johnny."
Yeah. But if people don't want to see him, does that not mean he's an effective heel?
Well, I mean, it depends on whether it's expat here or not, isn't it? But...
Well, yeah. So he waffles a bit, and he ends by saying he has friends in very high places. We start with some wrestling, and then it speeds up into some rope running that Hade wins with a spine buster that, shockingly, Zebra Kid sells. Vanson collects the ladder, but as he brings it into the ring, Zebra slingshots it into his balls. Hade gets hung up in a tree of woe with the ladder placed across his face, and Zeb just about connects with a Van Zebranator from the opposite corner. Ambitious.
I did feel with this move, though, that the pop for it was silent.
It's because half the crowd noticed he didn't really hit it. So
yeah.
Hade notices he's not going to connect and pushes the ladder out so his feet hit the ladder. But that ladder at that point is like 1.5 feet from his face. If he'd have done it off the corner he was originally going to do it off, it would have looked brilliant.
Yeah, but I think nowadays, a move like that, fucking hell, there'd be all this shits, everything.
Yeah, and also everybody's using a 20-foot ring now, so they'd have to jump further.
Yeah.
Zeb bounces Hade off the ladder, sends him outside, and then climbs up. Vanson cuts him off with a springboard axe handle and a kick in the nuts. He yells, "I'm the king of the world!" and then misses a diving headbutt off the top of the ladder. With a huge grin on his face, Roy then crushes him with the zebra crossing elbow drop from the very top, leaving the both down, and we go to an ad break.
I also agree with you as far as you're concerned with they kind of, he goes on to that one and you think, yep, that's fine, do it from there, it'll look effective. Yes. And then he just tries to go to the other one and I'm just like, mate, you're not jumping this. You can try, but like you're just
so
not.
Close, like an extra foot and it would have looked really good. He just came up a little bit short.
This crowd though, and the crowds I've noted again, this was one of the ones more, these crowds really do love Zebra Kid and he really does enjoy interacting back with them. which is great. I don't know what it is, but I really like Zebra Kid.
He was he was over, like, you know, he was charismatic and he did stuff that the crowd liked, and he was a hard nut. You know, that was very much part of the appeal. Back from the break, and Vanson gets spiked with an elevated DDT, cannoned off the ladder and flung outside again, where Zebra just throws the ladder over the top rope onto him. Tony Giles says, "Now is the time for Zebra to rise up." And I thought we were getting Rampage Brown for a second. That song came out in 2002, and Tony Giles was a metal DJ, so there's every chance that was stuck in his head. Outside, Zeb gets smashed through the ladder and the barricade, and Hade gets his bollocks squashed on the railings again. Back inside, Vanson gets dropped face first on the side of the ladder, then, after a struggle at the top, misses a crossbody off it. Hade is kicked in the balls again, and then has the ladder drop kicked into them. Liger Bomb, DDT, and then Zebra climbs up in the corner and beckons Hade to come up to join him. Why? Why would you do this? Hade, of course, climbs up, punches him in the dick, but Roy wins a strike battle by smacking Vanson's head into the top of the ladder, and then walks out onto the top rope so he can hit him with his Safari Spike top rope DDT. Zebra Kid sets up the ladder and climbs. He reaches up to grab the belt, and just like Mark Belton's hand, whoop, up it goes, away from his grip. Vanson wipes out the ladder with a top rope drop kick, sending Zeb outside, and sets it up, but he doesn't climb it. He just leans against it, and the crowd chant bullshit as the belt is lowered into his arms. The All England champion finally takes possession of the belt he won 6 months ago.
Jesus.
8 months on TV. Yeah.
Well, it was stuck somewhere in Norwich, so, you know, it could have been anywhere.
It's in the back of a van. It's the same old story with these two. It's good execution, but there's no selling and no story. I counted 6 low blows in this match, and they all led to nothing. I used to like this a lot more than I do now, and this is also getting 2.5.
I give it 2.25.
Yeah.
Some of the moves were all right, but they're just like complete strangers, these two, when they work together.
I didn't like Zeb beating him up. That was it, really.
Yeah, and also the bullshit finish, which was like it was King of the Ring 2000 finish with Steve Austin with the briefcase.
99?
99, sorry.
Yeah,
where he was going up for the briefcase, and and you know what? With that one, they never found out who raised the fucking briefcase, did they? I hope we find out who did this.
I do believe it was mentioned once that it was the Big Boss Man.
Ah, right.
Yes.
Right.
I didn't spot Ray Traylor hanging around Broxbourne Civic Hall, though, so I don't think he did this one.
Spoilers for anyone who's watched King of the Ring 1999 and doesn't want to be spoiled on who did it at this point.
Dude, that show is 26 years old.
Listen. You don't spoil Battle of Los Angeles, and you don't spoil King of the Ring 99. It felt heatless with this. Don't get me wrong. There was some stiffness, obviously, from up night from Norwich, but it just felt like they didn't really have any kind of like massive hatred towards each other, even though it'd been all this thing where it's like the belt. That was just maybe me.
And that's what the other thing is. The crowd very much love Zebra Kid, but they didn't hate Hade. Like, they just weren't bothered.
Well, in essence, all he's really done since he's come in is he did the whole shoot angle, then came in and interrupted a match because Zebra wasn't there.
Yeah.
And then they've also had bullshit finishes the last time they fought. Yeah. This one obviously came to an actual conclusion, so it just feels like a bit... I get what they're trying to do, because obviously they're trying to establish Hade is a kind of another heel they can have, but it just feels like it's maybe not connecting with fans. He
wasn't working as a babyface, and then the way they did the heel turn, like, the fans just didn't buy it. Like, they tried to do like the worked shoot, but like you're trying to do a worked shoot on smart fans who know it's bullshit. So they don't buy it. They would much rather you did a good worked heel turn.
Yeah.
But Alex wanted to be like cutting edge and experimental and do the work shoot stuff.
I think I agree with you guys in terms of it. It's really 2.5 more than anything, something like that. I just wouldn't
Yeah.
go any
Like, they don't
massively
do
higher.
anything bad, but it's just not exciting. I'm awarding technique here, really.
It's like a James Ty match. Technically, it's good, but there's nothing there.
Yeah. So we get one final visit to John in the dungeon, where he plugs Johnny Storm versus Sanjay Dutt, the family's attempt to recruit a new member, and the Shane Xavier last man standing match for next week. And we go into the closing credits and a live show ad.
Am I deaf or blind that I thought the family in this episode said they did have another member on the way, or they were going to announce a member next week?
They did, yes.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
I don't think you mentioned either, Kieran. There was an advert for the return of AJ Styles.
Yes, that's part of the Vendetta ad.
Yeah, with the cracking theme song, Vanessa Feltz.
Not Vanessa. There was a new credit this week. Technical assistant Paul Hutton. He was a mate of mine trying to get a video production job, but they wanted professional credits. So I asked him a question about Adobe Premiere, and when he answered, I said, "Congratulations, you're now a technical assistant," and put his name in. And then sent him a copy of the episode.
Jobs for the boys. Jobs for the boys.
Hey, it's how British wrestling works, right?
I know.
How wrestling works in general. The episode is okay, I think. The matches aren't bad. I'm in no rush to watch any of them again. The most entertaining things were probably Greg Lambert's promo and Dirk Feelgood before Burchill killed him.
Yeah.
Out of this, I want to see Dirk Feelgood more than I think anything else at this point, which is maybe bad upon the product. You
will notice we did not get to leave the memories alone. He will be back.
Oh, yes.
So we move on to episode 16, July the 22nd, 2004. So I watched the director's cut version that I recently made and the FWA files put up on the YouTube channel. The story behind this is I basically found a version of this episode on a promo DVD that had about 2 minutes extra of the main event, but was missing the promos and the upcoming show plugs that were on the broadcast version. So for the director's cut, I basically Frankensteined them. I put everything that was missing from the DVD version back in. So it's mostly that. But anytime you see the TWC logo and noticeably worse quality, that has come from the broadcast version that Lee already had up on the channel. Cold open, Johnny Storm, somewhere backstage in Broxbourne Civic Hall, is sitting on a piano. He cuts a short, nonsensical promo where he sings his entrance music and tells Sanjay Dutt he'll find out why Johnny Storm is the best thing going today. Page turn, and it's time for the Dutt rebut. He claims to be the best junior heavyweight in the world and basically says he's going to beat Storm for the XPW European title. Opening titles, and then, somewhere in deep space, John Atkins' mic is actually plugged in for a change.
I was outstanding this, where John Atkins has no notes and an actual microphone.
Oh, yes. So that tells me that this was shot in a different batch to the ones we've just seen.
And all he's missing is the ukulele in the background.
I suspect that Alex had watched the previous episodes and gone, I don't want to see John holding notes.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it. I think it's fine. It makes him look like a professional. It makes him look like a journalist, right?
Yeah.
But Alex is probably like, they don't do that in WWE, don't do it. We're making this on 50 quid a week, mate.
Also, it's like, as I say, it's like a news report. It's like a news reporter anyway. Like, and you say journalist, so he's, they have notes in front of them as well. They want to get things right. That's why they do like the whole if like he had breaking news and someone just handed him a sheet of paper and he went news just in and then reads off it. It would genuinely work if he was doing something like that.
Put a pin in that.
Sanjay Dutt, great English accent. Oh, nice wee promo. Cannot wait for this match. Already on the edge of my seat for it.
John plugs the last man standing match main event and throws to Tony and Nick for Sanjay Dutt versus Jenny Storm, that's his sister, Johnny Storm, for the XPW Use Your Imagination title. Page turn. The whole crowd sings along with Johnny's entrance music. And I'm like, fuck, I think we've accidentally got a heel over as a babyface.
Yeah. He's
too entertaining and the whole act is too good. Please note, the cameraman, your host, running for his life as Dutt flip dives over the corner and onto Johnny in the aisle. No, they did not tell me they were going to do this. The first warning I got was Johnny waving his arms around to try and tell me to get out of the way. So Dutt takes Storm's hat and jacket, puts them on, and does what I guess he thinks are Johnny Storm dances.
I was gonna ask that the clothes. I thought they come from the briefcase because he started fiddling around with.
Yes, he was fiddling with the briefcase, and the gimmick is, he can't figure out how to get it open, so he puts the hat and coat on and does a little dance in those.
Right.
Because I was expecting it to be a case of like most of the baby faces seem to do is kind of open up the briefcase so they can find the belt, and then obviously before they can do anything, Johnny stops them. We need to talk about the fact that Sonjay Dutt on this slip almost went face first into the top of that barrier at one point. He looks like he's like going through somersaults and then some in that flip. That was incredible. A great start.
I mean, pick one. There's plenty of that in this match. Do we need to talk about the cucumber?
We do, yeah.
I was going to say, yeah.
That's next on my notes, a giant cucumber.
Yes. So, the joke was, this fan, he was a guy called Simmons Fan Club on the UKFF. He was always loud. He was always the life of any crowd he was in. He was generally he was a very nice guy, very entertaining. And his claim on the UKFF was, I know what's really in Johnny's briefcase, and he was going to reveal it at this show. So he brought along his own briefcase. The shot of it isn't great, but he yells, "It's a cucumber with attitude," as he opens his own case and brandishes an 18-inch long cucumber and a copy of the gay lifestyle magazine Attitude at Johnny Storm. This fits in with what the crowd suggests Johnny might like to do for his weekends. So there we go. That's the cucumber. Do you need a minute, Eddie?
I mean, it's for the time.
It is of the time, yes.
It's just the fact you just held a cucumber right in front of him.
Yeah, yes. So, Storm gets flattened with a spinning wheel kick, fakes a handshake, and pokes Dutt in the eye to take over. It doesn't last, though, as at the end of a chain of hip toss reversals, Sonjay rebounds back off the top rope and kills him with a lariat. They do some stuff with a double knuckle lock and end up in that legs intertwined upside down slapping each other spot. They go back to the knuckle lock on the mat with Storm on top and maneuver so Dutt can spring from the mat to the top rope, release the hold, and then jump from the rope to the turnbuckle and straight into a moonsault body block. This looked awesome.
I was so worried that Johnny wasn't going to just get there in time, but he did just in the
I know,
morning.
right?
So
he does it so well. Like, he kills the right amount of time and spins into place to take the catch. I watched it over and over. The crowd are well behind Dutt already. Storm uses a headstand to reverse a wrist lock, and Dutt uses the ropes to take it back. Sonjay hits a drop kick and a flying head scissors out the corner, and they go outside, where Dutt uses a tiger feint style kick under the bottom rope to escape being whipped into the railings. Apologies for the crap shot. I was trying not to get kicked. Johnny told me afterwards, yeah, after the first spot, we decided we were just going to fucking aim for you. Dutt tries to springboard back in, but Storm drop kicks the rope to hang him out to dry and then hits a moonsault across his chest as he's hanging in the ropes. Fantastic Four, and Sonjay ends up slumped in a corner while Johnny jaws with the crowd. Storm grabs his legs to pull him back out, but Dutt flips through, goes between his legs and snaps off a Hurricane Rana. But a lion salt style moonsault only gets knees. Dutt gets flung outside, but whips Storm into the barriers. He charges, but Storm boosts him over his head and into the upright of the lighting rig, prompting several people to run in and grab it to stop it swaying. There was a rule in the FWA, you do not touch the lighting rig, because that could come down at a moment's provocation. All you had to do was whisper sweet nothings to that thing and it would melt.
I genuinely thought we were going to get like an innovative spot where he holds on to it and does like a moonsault off of it, but then as soon as he sells, I'm like, holy...
That was possibly the original plan, and he was told no. Storm follows this up with a tope into a tornado DDT on the floor. Back in the ring, Michinoku Driver and Johnny waste time playing to the crowd, which sends us into an ad break. This is where we get the...
Vendetta AJ Styles, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was in the previous episode too, but I think it's only in this one.
It was in the previous episode, yeah.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I missed it.
So yes, the point is that Vendetta is 3 days after this show airs. So this is the final push. And the specific focus on AJ Styles is he is now a big independent star. So Vendetta is July 25th, 2004. And prior to that, in 2004 alone, he had won all 3 current TNA titles. So the NWA World title, the NWA Tag title, and the X Division title, and the Ring of Honor Pure title. So he was very much on the ascendant and a hot property. Back from the break, and a complex spot in the corner sees Johnny clothesline to the apron and then knocked to the floor with the Silver King dropkick. Dutt follows up with a Liger flip, chucks him back in for a boot in the face, and at the second time of asking, Andy's favourite move from last time out, the Calcutta Cutter.
Brilliant name.
Which Tony Giles cannot say. And Nick mocks him for. Sondre gets near falls off that and a satellite DDT, but Storm chases him up the turnbuckles and brings him back in with an avalanche poison rana. Frustrated at that not getting the win, Storm plonks Sonjay on the top turnbuckle but gets shoved off almost to the opposite corner. Dutt then comes crashing down onto him by leaping from the post to the top rope into an elbow drop for another near fall. Storm flips out of a back suplex and runs Dutt into the corner again, almost like Doug Williams would do with the Chaos Theory. Puts him back on the top buckle, this time facing outwards. Johnny hits a second poison rana, but Sonjay Ospreay lands on his feet and wraps the champ up in a complicated cradle for a 2 count, which Storm then reverses for one of his own. On top in another corner, Dutt somersaults out of a superplex attempt, but his arm catches referee Andy Quildan on the way down, effectively clotheslining him. Andy is shaking his head.
Honestly, I was just like, oh shit, here we go again. Interference, Linsky.
Yeah. So, with the ref down, Dutt connects with the Bombay Buster Muscle Buster and his trademark Hindu Press Phoenix Splash, with Ben Corrigan counting the visual pin in the front row in the background.
Yeah.
That hat bobs up and down. And that sounds rude. Clutching his eye, Quildan makes an actual count and Storm kicks out at 2. Quildan rolls out of the apron. Storm goes to the briefcase to throw powder in Dutt's eyes and rolls him up. Like a greased up hog underneath a farm gate, Steve Linsky slides under that bottom rope as fast as you've ever seen this bastard move and counts. But Dutt kicks out. Linsky kicks Quildan off the apron to the floor and gives Storm a look like, what are you doing? You need to pin him. So Johnny charges with the briefcase, but Dutt drop-toe holds him onto it for a yellow card for weapon use from Linsky, despite Nick London saying at the start that this is XPW rules, so there won't be any cards. Sondre spits on the card, throws it out of the ring, and hits an absolutely beautiful standing shooting star press. But of course, Johnny kicks out. They trade punches over the briefcase, but then Dutt goes for a running lariat. Storm catches the arm as he comes in, and Linsky conveniently turns around to tie his shoelace as Johnny slams Sonjay onto the case with the Wonder Whirl, whips the briefcase out the ring, and then Linsky turns around and counts to 3. I was all set to write, this is great until the Linsky bollocks. But then I went back and watched it again, and even the Linsky stuff is perfectly timed and positioned. So my review now changes to, this is great, including the Linsky bollocks. I fucking loved this match. I thought this was awesome.
Yeah. My final line on it would be easily a 4-star match. Like, fuck me, knocked it out of the park. Johnny Storm, I will say, is probably the best act on this show.
Yeah.
Better than Doug, Belton, all the top line stars, even Alex.
It's just annoying that he's so good at it that it's turning him babyface. Like, They need him to be a heel, and he acts like a heel. But he's so entertaining, it gets over.
And Sonjay, when you see him on these, it's like he's doing manoeuvres. Obviously, the dive over the ropes. I just think of Leon Slater nowadays.
Yeah.
And fucking hell, seeing Duck do that, it's just magical.
These two together have the same level of chemistry as Storm did with AJ Styles.
Yeah.
So in preparation for this recording, I've now watched this match 3 times. I think this is the forgotten classic of the FWA. Nobody talks about this match, and I think it's up there with the best stuff we've seen out of the company. The compliment that came into my head was, this feels like it's from the Seasons Beatings tournament. I went 4.5. I love this to bits. Eddie, do you have anything to say?
I'm 5 stars all the way. I
Yeah.
thought this was incredible. It just only kind of reiterates how I feel about Sanjay Dutt coming into the FWA from the beginning. He is. I put it. Everything that he does in this match looks deadly or innovative. This is the second match that these two have had, because I did research on it. The first time they ever met was unfortunately in fucking Delaware, of all places, for CZW Respect, which has a 3.83 rating on Cage Match, and basically is told that overall it wasn't a good show, but from the comments, the Dutt Storm match is the best, other than the weak ending from some people have said on this. I, at the time, was pissed off at the ending, but then when you look at it from the perspective of the story, it makes sense.
Yes.
Although the carding and the XPW rule stuff.
But you can read that as Lindsay going into business for himself.
Yeah.
Lindsay trying to find a way to get Johnny to win.
I will always wax lyrical about the fucking X Division in TNA and how fucking good it was. And this is just a show of how fucking good the X Division was from Sanjay. And I know a lot of people now, because Sanjay doesn't do a lot, and he's more so a manager in AEW and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if you look at the stuff he does here, this match does not even... This match fits in place with current wrestling. Yeah. This would fit on any show you'd probably see.
And it's good for current wrestling as well.
Yeah. The Phoenix Splash is great. Everything he does, as I say, is deadly and innovative. They work so well against each other. I love it. Yeah, I hated the heel shit, and I do want the heel ref shit to fuck off. But again, I think that's part of me being a fan of the product more than anything, than an actual kind of critique.
And like I said, on my first watch, I did the same thing. I was like, I forgot. I was so into the match, I'd forgotten about the ref bump and the Linsky stuff, and I was like, Jesus Christ. And then I did my notes watch, and I was like, hold on a minute, what exactly is wrong with that? And that's when I watched the match again. Firstly, on third watch, this is 17 minutes that flies past. And then when I was watching the Linsky stuff, I'm like, what is wrong with it? Like, he's not botching anything. He's not in the way. He is in the perfect position for everything. Everything is perfectly timed. Yeah, it fitted in.
And it's all part of the story, isn't it? And
absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's nothing in this match that feels out of place, because these two just seem to have that chemistry that just fits well together. So I love this. It was perfect, and it was a great. And I'm glad it was near enough the full thing. There was not a single bit edited out massively from what I see.
There is a little bit edited out in the ad break, but like not enough that you'd notice.
It's not like the Extreme match where there's
No, it's not like the Extreme match. That went through a shredder, didn't it? When we come to the end of this series, I basically would like us to think about our top 10 matches like we've seen from the FWA. This is going to be on my list for sure.
Yeah.
If I may take a moment, I would like to apologise to two people. And they are Eddie Sideburns and Sanjay Dutt. Andy and I were both a bit Sanjay Dutt when there was that little promo announcement for him a few episodes ago. But he's completely smashed it in the two matches we've seen. He gave Ty his best match since the Doug Williams match at Uprising 2. And Johnny Storm his best match since the Extreme one. So Eddie and Sanjay, I humbly and publicly admit I was wrong. He was a brilliant, brilliant get.
He's one of the unwritten gems about wrestling at this period of time indie-wise, because he doesn't go massively into Ring of Honor. I think he does a couple of times in Ring of Honor, but not massively. He's mainly
not much Ring of Honor, because he was mostly TNA and he was XPW and MLW, so he was a busy boy around this time. We do have to leave the memories alone, though, because this is the last appearance of Sanjay Dutt.
No!
He's given us one of our best matches we've ever seen on this show, and this is it.
He has to go now. His home planet needs him.
It does indeed. So page turn, and here is Dennis Lawrence Brown in the promo room. He says the very reason he came to England was to take the FWA title from Doug Williams. He says it's time for the real deal D'Lo Brown to be the FWA heavyweight champion, and asks if Doug is down. That match will be next week. Website ad, now with John Atkins voiceover, and the Burchill Bong. Your monster moment this week is the flip tope over the corner onto Hampton Court and double dragon at Frontiers of Honor at regular speed and slow motion from as many camera angles as I could find, apparently. Well, that was the thing. It was like, I didn't know how many times I'd have to do this. So I suddenly remembered, oh shit, they're called moments. Like, they can just be a single move from a match. I can use stuff from the same match. So, back to the Ukulele Dimension. As John says, it's almost time for the main event. But first, he narrates some clips of the FWA's previous Last Man Standing match that pit Alex Shane versus Shamberg.
Hey.
Gone but not forgotten, Shamberg.
So we get scary music and black and white clips of these two numbskulls stiffing each other with chairs. Thankfully, all the no-selling is cut out. John finishes with, you can be sure Jack Xavier and Alex Shane have watched this match many times over in preparation. And we go to an ad break. I did think that little bit of last-minute promotion really helped this feel like a big match. But I also can't help but feel this would have been better placed last week.
Well, we're going to talk about the match, but there's a moment that if it was the week before, you would kind of maybe have forgotten it. So I'm glad it's in there. Can we talk about the promotional video that comes up during the
So
break?
who else went, what the fuck, as the opening title started playing again? It's not actually the start of a new episode. The opening titles serve as a background to an FWA live ad plugging Vendetta on the 25th. Again, that's 3 days away. And the next Morecambe date, which is July the 31st. Is the bit you want to talk about the very silly voiceover?
Well, is that the voice of Ellis Cabrera?
No.
Well, who is it? Is it you?
It's me. With lots and lots of effects on it. And I believe Alex saw that and went, don't do that again. So the next, I do voice over some other stuff like later down the line, but it's just me. Like, I don't think I'd do anything this stupid again.
You go into like 80s radio DJ, don't you, on it?
Was it FWA Live? There's nothing like it.
Yeah.
Something like that. The context we are missing here in 2024 is, as I've mentioned before, I would tactically insert these ads so they directly buffered against the actual adverts in the ad break. So it looked like they were part of the commercial break when they were actually part of the TV program's runtime. Technically, I think that's illegal, but I didn't know that at the time.
That you saying that just reminds me of, what are you going to do? I've done it now. What are you going to do? Arrest me?
Yeah. It's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. So, our main event is Jack Xavier versus Alex Shane, last man standing. Xavier is out first, followed by Shane and his three-man leather jacket appreciation squad of Styx, Martin Stone and Leroy Kincaid. Don't know where the fourth one went.
I've got the poem here of Sticks, Stones, and Kincaid Bones, but like if he had like a nickname of King Bones, it would have worked.
They don't do much hurting of Jack in this, do they?
No.
So Shane climbs the corner for his entrance, but as he comes down to do the same on the opposite one, Jack is in the middle of the ring and smashes him in the face with a chair. He also brains Stone and Kincaid when they hit the ring, and Styx wisely backs off rather than take one as well. Alex comes up bleeding, and Shane slams into him with a flying forearm in the corner and a rolling elbow, and then clotheslines him to the floor. The heels all regroup in the aisle, but Jack flattens the lot of them with a flip dive off the corner. Very similar to Sanjay Dutt's. Slightly unfortunate that those two moves aired on the same show. Never mind. He flattens all the goons, he throws them into each other, and then follows Alex up onto the stage and gives him the Jack liner on the stage and then a flying tornado DDT off it. Shane gets bounced off the walls and the lighting rig. Jesus Christ, that thing could fall down at any moment. And they battle up and across the main seating through the crowd. Xavier batters Shane with forearms until he's up against the barrier with the drop behind him and charges. At the last moment, Alex scoops him under the armpit and hip tosses him off the bleachers from the second highest row.
Fucking hell.
The camera is shooting this from the apron, so Jack just disappears into the shadow realm. And if you don't know this is coming, it is scary as fuck.
I love the fact that there's like the bit at the top where you can just see heads popping out, having a wee look.
So that window, that's kind of like the AV control room. That's where Ralph would be during the shows.
Right. Okay.
And obviously, like the lighting guy and some other little assistants, I guess. So Alex stops Linsky from counting and goes to collect Xavier, where in the darkness we can just about make out that he landed on some willing volunteer trainees. Shane drags him back to the ring and hits him with the full Nelson into the neck breaker, which finally gets its name here, the Greetings from Finsbury Park.
Brilliant name.
As Linsky counts, you can also see Alex's dazed security crew emerge from the corner where Xavier landed, so I guess they got squashed as well. Xavier uses Alex to drag himself up at 6, straight into the checkup from the neck up. And now we've seen Aviv Mayan take 2 top-notch bumps off this lately. I think Jack outdoes them here. Bear in mind it's supposed to be bumped like a diamond cutter. He comes down directly on the top of his head.
Literally Rob Van Dammed it, didn't he?
Yeah, comes down on the top. He takes a back bump of a head and back bump of what is supposed to be a diamond cutter. Despite Alex yelling at him to stay down, Xavier is up, but is knocked down by a pair of big boots. Next time he gets up, Shane fucking murders him with an unprotected chair shot to the head.
Oh.
Jesus Christ.
There's a shot of a cameraman with his mouth, with his jaw dropped, watching this. I don't know whether your jaw dropped or you're yawning at this point, Kieran, but you just go...
Is it me? Oh, well,
yeah.
I mean, I wasn't expecting anybody to get hit on the head that hard with a chair. Xavier gets up at 9, straight into another one. Shane has to stamp the shape of Jack Xavier's head out of the seat of the chair to get it flat again. And Xavier, now bleeding, stands up into a third brain-scrambling chair shot. The crowd stomping their feet makes the hard cam shake as he gets up again. Shane abandons the chair, but clubs him back to the mat and heads backstage, emerging with a table that the henchmen set up at ringside. I saw the construction of this table. So this is 2 pieces of plywood, gaffer taped around the edges. Because if you get one, they just bend and don't break. But if you get 2 together, they'll break. With the table legs screwed onto either end. Alex sets up for the whole affair, which is the Avalanche one-night stand off the outside of the turnbuckles through the table, but Jack elbows his way free looking for a tornado DDT, which is a callback to their New Frontiers match, where he did this exact thing, reversed the whole affair into a DDT through a table on the floor. Shane hangs on though, drops him nuts first on the top rope and then clotheslines him back into the ring. He tries to suplex Jack through the table, but Jack breaks free, hits a rolling elbow, and then puts Shane through the table with a spear through the ropes. Yes, it's Shamberg's Thunderstrike. Thankfully, Alex sells this one, unlike he would do for Shamberg.
Hold on. Story, cinema, Thunderstruck. That's what I've got down here, because that's what this was. Matty can go on about how the Bloodline has story in cinema. No, this is story in cinema because it harkens back to what we were seeing and how that they've been watching the match. There was also a funny bit where when they're sitting at the table, I can watch 3 women who look like they're from the WI standing in like one of the areas just watching like arms folded looking. I'm like, wonder what the earth they think about this show.
We'll go and see the nice wrestling. Oh, it's all fake anyway. Oh, fuck, he's been thrown off the seats. So the whole crowd are chanting FWA and we go to the break as both men are laying on the floor exhausted. Back from the break, they drag themselves back into the ring at 7 and Jack fires up, like pinging Shane all over with punches and then shoulder blocks in the corner, but runs into the choke bomb. Alex gets to his knees and counts along with the ref, but Xavier pops up and smashes him with the Nipzaguri at 8. The count restarts, Xavier is up first, and we get this great shot of Shane wobbling to his feet as Jax does his X pose, signaling for the rolling release X-Plex behind him. Alex, though, low blows him, hits the one-night stand. As the count gets to 6, Xavier starts to move, so Shane goes over to get him. Linsky pushes him away, though, back into the corner and doesn't see Hade Vanson hit the ring to crown Jack with the All-England title belt at 7. Vanson rolls out, Linsky turns around and counts 8, 9, 10. Alex Shane is the last man standing. I'm getting an Ogden face. What does the Ogden face mean, Mr. Ogden?
I just hate interference in matches, don't I? That's probably my only issue with maybe these 2 episodes is just interference and shenanigans. There's becoming too much of it. I know it's needed in some parts, but
yeah,
I enjoyed. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the match. I think it. You built it up to as like it was a big thing, like this match.
I know this is Ben Corrigan's shout for his favourite ever FWA match.
He's easily pleased, is Ben, isn't he? It's don't get me wrong. I went about 3 1/4 on it. I do enjoy a good walk and brawl from Alex Shane from time to time. Probably Jack Xavier's best showing, I will say. But it's a last man standing match, and it's all supposed to be about like all angry, a fight to the death. And then Jack Xavier comes out to that fucking terrible theme tune of his. It's not fight music, is it?
No, it's not fight music, but he's like the cuddly little mascot of the FWA who's having to man up.
He definitely shows manning up by taking the fight to Shane from the start, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah, it's like the first 5 minutes of this is Alex Shane getting his ass kicked, so that's why I like this match.
I was going to say, it's really weird. It's like a walk and brawl in the Shane verse, but Shane's getting his arse kicked rather than the other way, where it was like he would do the thing. He would be the arse kicker.
Eddie, do you think though? I think we mentioned on the last episode, would this match have been better with Aviv Mayan involved instead of Jack Xavier?
I mean, I like Aviv. I just there's something about Xavier though. I think if you were to put in who the fans would care more about, it would probably be Xavier just a tad bit compared to Mayan. I think Mayan's
new on the scene, right? So Aviv debuted at New Frontiers, whereas Jack Xavier has now been around for 3 years.
Don't get me wrong, I could see Mayan in this spot. And obviously, this is the birth of Bald and Balder. With that's my new tag name for Shane Advance and Bald and Balder. But I could see with Mayan. I think maybe Xavier, given obviously the arc of the story of what we've gone through, because obviously what they were on episode 1 where they were doing stuff, and obviously it was the whole over the internet feud with them. It obviously then also ties back to the kind of Vanson comment that he has friends in high places kind of thing, but then also it doesn't make sense given they were doing that shoot angle or whatever. But I mean, don't get me wrong, I think Mayan would have probably been as good an opponent as Jack. Jack kind of shows a little bit about the never die attitude in this.
I think those chair shots would have broken Aviv in half.
They were just brutal. They were just. Yeah. It felt like the Dreamer Raven spot is there in points for how brutal some of those were.
Yeah, the one I like is the second one where it's a swinging one and Jack turns his head away at the last moment. That's just like a cool visual. The first one is just straight down on the top of the head.
I think also the visual of Shane on the top rope turning around and then going straight into the shot from Xavier, that's great.
Because you don't see Xavier at all until he's there in Shane's face. Like, I specifically not used the hard cam, so it goes from like a close-up of Alex on the top and follows him as he turns around into the ring, and Xavier is just there with the chair.
Rating-wise, I'd probably go 3.75.
Okay.
It's a good kind of story match. The ending is, again, a bit meh, because, again, we do seem to keep getting shows where there's just too dusty or kind of dirty finishes in terms of that.
Do you mean Russo finishes?
Yeah, Russo. Sorry, bro.
Yeah, I mean, this is the Alex Shane booking style. This is what you're going to get.
We just have to have a clean finish at some point. It just feels like we're not getting as many.
Just not in these matches.
But yeah, overall, I thought, again, my match of this show and one that will definitely be on my list for the top 10 is the Dutt versus Storm match.
Fair.
Yeah.
I'm giving this the same as that, though.
Ooh.
I really like this match. This is 4.5 for me as well. I think this is fantastic and completely different to all the other best of the FWA matches we've seen. It's not only Jack Xavier's best performance, this is Alex Shane's best performance as well. This is the best Alex Shane match you're ever going to see.
I think there's a bit of be an argument here because Andy's just laughing.
Oh no, I can see him making the faces, but I'm going to carry on. Jack has all the fire that Shane was trying to bring out of him in the story. It all makes sense. It calls back to their last match and the previous last man standing match. The action is hard hitting, and that hip toss out of the seats is wild. The only thing I have against this is slightly spoilery in that it feels like a feud ender. It isn't. We have more Alex Shane versus Jack Xavier to come. I think they did this when they did it so they could do the spot out of the bleachers.
So will they be having tag matches with Jack and Aviv versus these two? But then again, Aviv's with the Belton now.
Well, we will see coming up on future episodes.
Right.
I think also I agree. I understand where you're coming from in terms of it because again, the story makes sense with everything that we've seen before, so far. So yeah, I get where Andy's coming from because Andy, I don't think finds Xavier to be serious really in terms of that.
No, this is the year of trying to make him serious, and I get what you mean about the music. Another spoiler: he does get a new theme tune before the end of the year.
Oh, I can't wait to listen to that monstrosity.
But we've got to wait. So back to Waku Waku Atkins land as he gets one final plug-in for Vendetta coming up on Saturday and then throws to the worst hype video I've ever made for the FWA. This fucking blows. I didn't want to do this, didn't have time to do it, and it shows. I know we have to plug the card that we want people to pay for, but it doesn't make sense to air it here because it contains spoilers for stuff that hasn't been broadcast yet. But Alex demanded that all the big monthly shows get a hype package because that's what WWE did. What he failed to realise is that WWE have a multi-million-dollar broadcast department and the FWA have one exhausted man in Hemel Hempstead. I will tell you now, though, this idea of monthly hype videos went out the window and this is the last one before Uprising.
What got me here, Kieran, I know you'll mention it, is, you know, the advert for the website. And I saw a picture of like, what's buddy Ricky Knight doing on there?
Yes. Yeah. Again, this is stuff we haven't seen yet. Look, this should have only gone on the website because this is like a glimpse into the future of TV continuity. Yeah. Almost none of the matches that they plug for Vendetta make sense coming out of the 2 TV episodes we've just seen. All of this shit is happening on the week of my 25th birthday as well.
Happy birthday, Kieran.
There is stuff where I was like, how on earth is another night got on board this story?
We will get to that. Yes. All of the riot and civil unrest stock footage was Ralph's idea. I didn't really care. It helped me fill in the gaps and padded the thing out, but I'm not sure how relevant it is to a show called Vendetta. And it's 2004, so the visual fidelity of freely available stock footage on the internet is not what it is today. Yes, this sucks. I would rather forget this ever happened. Terrible. So, before we wrap up, did anybody notice anything missing from this episode?
No credits.
True, but not that. Last week, John Atkins told us we see the family's attempts to recruit a new member, and it didn't happen.
Yeah. Because as they said they would look at the recruitment, and then obviously in the promo they said they already had a member ready. So it was like, what happened, Kieran?
I checked the broadcast version as well. It wasn't on there either. So I guess, like with these 2 matches taking up all this time, there just wasn't room for it, and I chose to make John look daft. Sorry, John.
Diddly.
Overall, I think this is one okay standard episode, followed by probably the best hour of TV to ever come out of the FWA. 2 matches of that quality on the same episode of TV just didn't happen. And I haven't looked ahead, but I don't think there's a hope in hell it ever happens again. There is one episode that could have come close towards the end of the run, but one match had to be cut down so severely to fit everything in that it's almost completely wrecked. Whereas, as Eddie kind of mentioned earlier, if you watch the director's cut of this one, the Last Man Standing is 100% complete, and Dutton Storm only has a little bit clipped out during the break.
I think when you've been able to do it, 'cause obviously whoever the director is, not naming any names, they've done a really good job at this. And the remastered ones are really good.
Oh yeah.
But I think it's like also like I'm sure Andy will really appreciate that extreme match that he won't stop going on about and stuff like that. But I think when you do get the full parts of some of them, we understand obviously because you've got a time limit of about 45 minutes to fit as much as you can in it.
I have a time limit of precisely 45 minutes, not one frame over or under. Thanks, Sean.
Otherwise, you're getting an angry phone call from Ireland in an office. But yeah, this I think the director's cut episode of 16 is a must watch. I would say, as far as I'm concerned. It's no matter what your thoughts are on kind of the second match, I think they are both kind of reasonably good matches.
There is a reason that was chosen to be the one that went on a promo DVD.
No shit.
Alex Shane had a good match. That was the reason it was chosen to go on a promo DVD.
Oh, fuck, of course.
I agree with Eddie. Obviously, that episode 16, just watching the remastered stuff, I did tell you, like watching wrestling from another promotion.
I am very pleased with how they turned out.
Yeah.
Because like they are now how I remember them looking, if that makes sense.
Well, if you look at it to the quality of, even what you see nowadays, it's up there. There's a level of high quality.
Doesn't Broxbourne look nice, eh?
Oh, Broxbourne's a perfect place, except when you get someone walking past the hard cam.
That is an issue, yes. So to put the hard cam up in Broxbourne, it has to go in the back row of the seats. Frequently, they would forget to take those seats off sale. So I would go and set up it took up somewhere like 4 or 5 seats. And frequently, people would show up with tickets for those seats and then get pissed off that they had to go somewhere else because there was a camera and a man standing in the seats.
I would say, like, some of the Dragon Gate UK shows, what we've reviewed, Kieran, from Broxbourne, and I think I used to be sat on the floor with them. And, you watch a great match, Susumu versus Shingo, fucking brilliant. And then some fat ass is in front of it
was generally up as high as you could get it to mitigate the number of heads that got in front of it, but there's only so much you can do. I think I mentioned before, my idea was to build, so behind the stage there's basically a drop, and my idea was to build a platform there so you wouldn't get the entrance aisle on the hard cam, but you would get all of that seating and all of those people. But that would have cost money and taken time, and Alex doesn't like either of those things. Right.
Are you thinking of filming it? What was that venue where it was like a tarpaulin over the top, and you can see the entry? Like the wrestlers coming out from an overhand view. It was an early one. I seem to remember.
On FWA.
On FWA, yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Not the community centre that weirdly had 2 balconies.
It might have been that one with the.
Oh no, Harrow High School. They did that. Yes, where there was one show, the first show there. They put the hard cam above the entrance.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they then hadn't sold all the seats opposite the hard cam.
Right.
And then when they had sold all the seats opposite the hard cam, they then decided to put the hard cam the other side.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, they got it completely arse backwards. Yes, I know what you mean. Yeah, kind of like that.
Yeah.
I like the venue. I like the way it looked. It looked quite
yeah, it's great.
Nice new venue.
Yeah, it's a wonderful place. That is it, I guess, for another episode of Nothing Unlike It. Eddie, what's going on?
I don't know, mate. What's going on with you? What am I? The tournament. Oh, I don't know. I don't think I can speak about it.
You don't have to do it. You can just tell people where to find John Blue Sky and that shit, and we can go home.
For legal reasons, I can't talk about it.
That's your get out clause.
And if a man who follows us on the Instagram is bald and angry and looking for me, you can't find me. I'm too far away from you. You can find me on Blue Sky at Eddie Sideburns. My Twitter account is retired. You can follow me, but I'm not gonna. You can request it. I'll see how I feel. And yeah, that's really all you can find me at the moment. If you want to listen back to some of the Aaron and Eddie Experience podcast and try and convince Aaron to come back, that would be great. But that's where you can find me.
Alrighty. Andy, tell me about the world of Craps and Claps.
Yeah, not much been going on recently, but coming up, yet to be recorded, as this gets released, is we're doing Shite Volume 3 with Michael Amphlett from What Culture and Matty as we go to WWF Backlash 2002. It's the final pay-per-view under the WWF name.
It's the Hogan and Triple H one, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And also
Yes.
a 27-minute match between Steve Austin and The Undertaker, which sucks. Absolutely sucks.
Correct, it does.
Yeah, there is some good stuff on there, but we're reviewing that. We've also got myself and Kieran as well. We're going to do episode 5 of Working a Reslow.
Yes. We finally hit 1991.
We have, yeah. A certain Drew McDonald turns up on this show.
This bastard, we cannot get rid of. He has now followed us through 3 shows. Much like Mick McManus, he's followed us through the same 3 shows.
Yeah. So, yeah, we've got that coming up, and go and listen back to the extensive back catalogue of UWA, Transatlantic Wrestling Challenge, all the shite and mucks. Plenty on there to go at. So follow me at Oggy Part 3 on Twitter, X. Follow the podcast at GCP Podcast 1. And just go and listen to all our shows on Spotify and all the good podcast platforms.
Fabulous. I am going to once again plug that I was recently on Days of Thunder helping Stagger Lee Malone review the Turner Television premiere movie Shutter Speed starring Steve Sting Borden. At the time of recording, that's the latest episode in their free feed, so go listen to that. You can find everything to do with this show at linktr.ee/FWApod. We are on Twitter, Blue Sky and YouTube at FWApod, and on Instagram at FWA.pod. As for me personally, you could follow at Kieran Edits on Blue Sky if you really wanted. Thank you very much for listening. We'll be back next month, where D'Lo Brown gets his shot at the FWA title. And there's 2 things you can do about it.
Scream.